Kellsey Frank. I'm a registered dietitian and a fellow Drexel alum and a mom of a 2-year-old boy. And I work in medical sales.
I'm just going to steal Kelsey's introduction because it's literally everything. Andrea Luciani. I am also a registered dietitian and a Drexel alum. And I work in safety and quality now. And a fun fact about me is I'm a twin.
Andrea Irvine. I'm also a Drexel alum and a registered dietitian. And I work for Drexel Athletics as the sports dietitian there. And I am a mom of 2 girls, 3 and 5.
My name is Nguyen. I am a Drexel alum and I have a private practice named Yummy Body Nutrition based in Philadelphia. I have a 2-year-old boy and a newborn.
So, hi guys, it's been a long time since I've seen you.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm so happy that you guys came on to talk about this. I've been doing this podcast and I really wanted to kind of dive into all these myths that are out there. Like there's so many, and I know you guys have heard them all. So like, I want you to feel like you don't have to hold back, but I just want to talk about some of them and like why maybe they're out there and put an end to everybody's like suspicions of some of these myths. I think a lot about them. I really do, because I feel like every person in America, when they see me, they want to tell me their favorite food myth. Like the minute I meet somebody and I tell them I'm a dietitian, they immediately go to, well, what's the best protein powder I should be using? Or, should I use coconut oil? I'm just going to throw some of my favorte ones out there.
Yeah, please do. Like, bring them. Come on, bring them out.
Should I be putting coconut oil in my food? Carbs make you fat. Protein builds protein.
Fat makes you fat.
Fat
Yes.
fat makes you fat. Exactly. Like, does fat make you fat? I don't know. Eating all protein will help you lose weight. I eat all protein. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have one. Somebody said to me yesterday, and you know what? I feel like it's almost like I have armor now, and they're like, pew, pew, like they just come off because I used to think a lot about them. And now, like, you're right, I just get bombarded all day with them. So somebody yesterday was like, I'm going to help with my cholesterol, I'm going to do the carnivore diet. And I was like, okay.
Great idea.
They said there's a lot of research on it. And I was like, from who? The meat industry? Like, who, where are you getting your research from? Who's telling you this, you know? So yes, I do, like, now that you say that, you're right. Like, people do say this stuff literally all the time, but I feel like I have armor on now where I have to tune it out or it stresses me out. And I feel like I have to correct everyone.
Okay. So let's talk about correcting everyone. Because I know that both of you, and Angela, in your own practices, I'm sure that you're like constantly pushing people in the right direction, like to get away from some of these thoughts or whatever they read that day online, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest one is the carbs one. Like I had a patient who was like she just can't seem to lose weight. And so she wants to cut out all her carbs. She got a referral to go to an endocrinologist, and then they gave her a glucometer, right? To check her blood sugar. And then I started like going down this rabbit hole. Yes. And there's actually a company that sells these like $500 like glucometers that you can wear, and they gear it towards like these athletes and figuring out like your macros. And I was like, wow, we would all be millionaires if we, figured this out before them. And it doesn't actually work, like everyone's body's different.
So let's talk about that, because I want to get to like the science of it. So you wear a glucometer. First of all, for people who don't know what a glucometer is, it is a device that literally is put into your skin. That's not superficial. Like it goes into you make a hole, puncture your skin to put this device in, and it'll send then updates to your phone of what your blood glucose level is. Okay, now blood glucose level has a range, and it is your body's responsibility to keep it within this certain range. So right after you eat, the range actually goes up. It's not the same range as when you are fasting. So there's a range for fasting blood glucose, then there's a range for after you eat something, glucose levels. What's happening here is everyone's trying to keep their blood glucose levels at fasting even after they eat. So, I mean, can someone jump in here? Like, am I like crazy that I just can't even believe that this is taking off?
No, I mean, I can believe it's taking off. And to your point, Angela, like, it's not that we didn't think about it. It's that like, we're not in the business of, scamming people. Like, we're not snake oil salesmen, like there's so many things that people are like, this is great. And, I mean, even just something as simple as like talking about tech and using MyFitnessPal, which is great. But like, I was just telling students yesterday in your class that like, there's, it's almost like Wikipedia, like anybody can add things in. You're trying to look for verifications. There's more than just like, oh, check your food on MyFitnessPal. It's like, are you in the right weight range? Like, are you in the right, are you putting in the correct information? What are you using it for? Are you using the QR code? I mean, like so many things that I could go down.
When I'm looking, hi, Kelsey, welcome. We're just talking food, like anything that's bothering us. And right now we're talking about using glucometers to measure blood glucose levels on the everyday daily market. Like everybody just
right, okay, got it.
Yeah, everyone now just has a glucometer, and like it just sets off your buzz, your phone.
Casual.
Yeah, casual. Yeah.
I could see, I mean, I think as humans, we're so like gravitated towards technology, and I could kind of see how I can see, like, as a consumer, if I kind of put myself in their shoes, like if I wasn't a dietitian, I can kind of see how that could be appealing. Like people are data driven. They want to know, how many calories, what their blood sugars are like, their biometrics, right? Like their body composition that we even do in my practice. But I think that there are people who are marketing towards, they're selling it in a way, and people just don't know how dangerous it could be. And it's not really valid.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like she was prescribed by a physician for this, and like the physician didn't even like tell her how to use it. She was like, I don't even know what to do with this information. And I just think, like, I don't know, with my background, like in eating disorders, I feel like people can take this information and like it can really spiral into like a really negative effect either. So, a lot of industries are giving out information to like the general public, but they don't really know, where other people's mindset is. And it can turn really dangerous. So that's like the other piece of these horrible myths. People want a quick fix, they want something, and then it can spiral into something else. Just like you said, Andrea, with like MyFitnessPal, like, are you using MyFitnessPal for the right things? And do you have the right information in there? And I really feel, I think they've changed recently with having a disclaimer and everything. But I mean,
Who's reading disclaimers?
What did you just say?
Yeah, who's reading that?
I know,
I'm
looking at covers there.
calories.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like all of these.
Like, which pizza do I like? Oh, I like 120 calorie pizza. That's the one I'm eating right now. I am not eating.
And I just feel like
80 calorie pizza.
Yeah, and I just feel like the tech behind it, like people need to use dietitians, and health professionals, for guidance, because it can be a really slippery slope. So,
well, throw people into the wrong direction. Like Ha was saying, people want feedback. People want to see things. And I totally get that, Ha. Like you want to know what you're doing and you want to see immediate reaction. But what something like that could do is make people eat only the foods that do not raise blood glucose levels. And that can lead to harm. Like we need to understand what the true range is there. Kind of like that, what's that device? I'm not going to say any device names. I'm not going to throw anyone out, but like the thing that you blow into to measure your breath for ketosis. Like, do we want to live in ketosis? Is that our goal as human beings? I'm going to let someone else answer that for me. Ha, you answer. Since you're laughing, I want to know if we as human beings, from a dietitian's point of view, should we be living in ketosis?
No, absolutely not. And we also don't want to be in this fasting glucose range. And we also don't want to be eating the same number of calories every single day either. So, with MyFitnessPal, they set a goal for you and you're supposed to eat whatever it is, 1,200 calories. And that's an estimation as well. We're kind of estimating what our activity level, and it doesn't take into account genetics and all the different factors. But we know that if we eat intuitively, our bodies are hungrier on some days and it's less hungry on other days. So are we supposed to still force ourselves to eat, our calorie target? No, we're not.
I love that. I love that you said that, because I really like to do, if we're going to look at calories, average of a week, because really it can go up and down and every day can be a little bit different, and what your needs change every day. Like yesterday, I'm in New York City. I walked 14,000 feet yesterday, steps. I literally walk 200 some days. Okay. Yeah, you have to adjust to what your body's needs are.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me Kellsey. We just threw out some myths out there. So give me something that you hear.
Okay, wait, I made a list the other day because I didn't.
Yeah.
Is anyone surprised or?
No, because she called me out Andrea, I know you have a list. And I was like, I would have had a list, but I have been insane recently. And anyway, Kellsey has her list. Go.
Okay. I don't know what you talked about already before I got on, but one of my biggest pet peeves, and I don't know if this is a myth, but one of my biggest pet peeves, because I know people in my life that say it all the time, is when they say oh, I don't want to eat that. That's so fattening. Food is that a specific food is fattening. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? If you eat a donut, that means that, but what if you only eat one donut in one day and that's all that you ate? You're not going to gain fat. So right. I don't understand what that means. Yeah, right.
Yeah. You are just not going to eat this brownie.
The butterboard. You're not going to eat a butterboard.
You're not going to eat the butterboard. That butterboard is so bad for you.
So
you're going to eat half a pound. I don't even know what I'm going to go with right now, but give me an example. You're going to eat
one.
2 cups of quinoa and that's good for you. Or you could have had a piece of brownie and been happy about it. Start enjoying it, people.
Right. 100%. Or a huge salad with a half a cup of dressing on it, but it's a salad. So it's not fattening.
Right.
Bacon bits and bacon bits and
right. A Cobb salad. Not fattening at all.
Will be
you need to jump in, because these two, you're never going to get in. Okay. Take over.
Well, I have clients that'll come in and be like, I don't know why I'm overweight. I never touch the bread when it comes out. Then I will drink a whole bottle of wine at dinner, Wait,
I don't come to you.
but when you were also the term healthy, I take issue with that sometimes too, because it is a subjective term.
Wait, can we talk about if you're going to say the word healthy, I just need to jump into the word clean, because everybody eats dirty food.
Yeah, you can't that. Actually, I think my ears are bleeding.
The worst.
But healthy, people be like, oh my God, I got to eat healthy, or that's not healthy, but it's so subjective and it gets thrown around so much. And I mean, even myself, sometimes if you think about some of the education that we've all made, and we've been healthy this or healthy that, and even I feel I've been guilty of that, but I'm just trying to I feel I can say that, but because we're dietitians.
Wait, I have a metaphor for that based on our previous conversation. So people think of healthy in the same way that fasting blood sugar is, when really the term healthy is more of A1C. It's a Does that make sense, or am I completely making
Okay,
that up?
that makes
You see what
total
I'm
sense
saying?
to dietitians, but nobody
Okay.
understands what we're saying.
Everyone
right?
else is super confused right
They're
now.
like, oh, like A1 steak sauce? Like, what?
Well, I thought this was a safe place to share my thoughts. So
We're recording, so
Dietitian.
everybody's listening.
okay. So what I'm saying is that the term healthy is more of like a big picture, like past couple months of your life. Like, are you living a healthy lifestyle? And that might mean having a brownie, that might mean having a salad, you know, like every once in a while, versus one individual moment in time. Like, is this meal healthy? That doesn't really mean anything.
Love it.
That's a really great way to look at it, and how I'm going to explain it from now on, because it is so, I mean, it's
It's a 4-month snapshot. Would we say it's a quarterly snapshot of your overall everything, like everything that you do, not only what you eat, what you drink, how you behave, like your interactions with other people, like just your community that you are with. Like, so even like, are you always eating alone in the car or by your office, or are you like having family meals and sharing meals with people and talking and like enjoying the whole idea of food?
Wait, can I tell you guys something really funny? So yesterday on the slide set, it was talking about like tips for healthy eating. And one of them was like, try eating silently. And I was like, on the slide, literally, I had the microphone, I felt very powerful. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what this means. So we're just gonna like skip that. Food is social. Like, it's not to be meant to like be quiet and eat in secret.
You're right. Why would the book say that?
I
Because
don't
the
know. but
dietitian
I
didn't write it.
They
Yeah.
did.
Probably
They did
is my
write this
guess.
book. But they may
Well,
be.
I think a lot of what we do too is like nutrition has evolved. So, you know, we like, I can even look back at some of the things I learned in school, and it's evolved so much. And I think that some of the myths that we're debunking are like things that just aren't true, that I've even been taught, and that I kind of have to unlearn as well. And I think that's one really good example.
I'm taking this personally right now.
Why?
I think you taught me.
Who's your teacher?
You taught me
You
food.
taught everybody on this call.
You got everyone here.
I'm everybody's teacher.
But you're keeping up with the trends. Like, I mean, it's not like you're not. I mean, in fairness, the book was talking about like, you know, how it was like the 2015 to 2020 you know, guidelines. So it is, you're right. I mean,
People 2020. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, and you're right, huh? It was outdated. I mean, it is, some of that stuff is outdated, and how we present material and all of the technology and all the other things, and how science, I mean, nutrition is a science and it's always evolving. So I think, you know, just being on.
I feel like
right
since you have a new babies, and maybe Angela, well, actually all three of you, actually all of you really, I'm the only one who doesn't have anybody young.
Which is probably a good thing, Nyree.
But what I was gonna say is like, even the recommendations for pregnancy, infants, and like what you can and can't eat during pregnancy, you know, like that has changed tremendously.
Totally.
Oh my God. I'll say this. I ate sushi during my pregnancy. I ate tuna. I drank coffee. Like, I really got into this dietitian, Lily Nichols, and she debunked a lot of myths, and like, it was such a page turner, and I learned so much. And she even just kind of compared the American diet to different cultures. Like in Japan, women are encouraged to eat fish, you know, like sushi is a main staple. If you go to Europe,
I've always wondered about that. I mean, we've talked about this in class though too, like about other cultures. Like if it says sushi, but it's part of your everyday food, like in other cultures, why is this bad for you when you're pregnant?
yeah.
Does that mean you can have wine? Did you look into that, huh? Like wine in Italy? Like, I mean, I'm sure pregnant people in Italy,
I'm sure they did. Although
I feel like that's a staple of their, I'm curious. Now I need to look into that.
yeah.
But it's also how you feel personally too.
Yeah, totally.
You have to be accepting of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I learned, this is my second pregnancy, and what I ate during my first has been so different from my second.
Tell me something about that. Like, what is one of the biggest things that here, I'm gonna flip it the other way. What is still not okay to eat when you're pregnant? Like, what are the big things that you should not be eating when you're pregnant?
Well, I would say wine is
Alcohol. We'll call it alcohol.
I probably wouldn't do alcohol. What did
I think like, wasn't it like high mercury? Like they still recommend like against like high mercury containing
like
fish.
large fish, and not eating too much. So like, you can eat tuna, but not more than like 2 or 3 times a week or something like that. But
actually,
I'm not going to eat tuna more than 2 or 3 times a week.
Right. Yeah, they actually recommend like, what is it, like 2 8-ounce servings of fish a week for the omega-3 recommendation for brain development. So that definitely, I feel like that's like the biggest thing. They say, I mean, I remember when I was pregnant being in Canada and I was like, I'm not following any of these recommendations. Like it was like it wasn't pasteurized cheese.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I was like, this just looks way too good. Like, am I going to eat it every day? No, but like,
that's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is eating like I mean, I think you're more likely to get sick when a restaurant's not following
food safety.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah. So like, there are more foodborne illness outbreaks with like fruits and vegetables, but not like eat vegetables when you're pregnant, right? But yeah, I would say the biggest thing is food safety.
How about soft-boiled eggs? Still a big no? I don't know. Yeah.
You mean like yolky eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them.
I ate them. I really love
them. I didn't eat them when I was pregnant.
Mayo. Like, you're not supposed to eat like Caesar salad. You're not supposed to eat mayo because it has like.
Never heard that. Really? Caesar salad?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that.
I thought you were going to say Caesar salad egg in it. Caesar salad has raw egg in it. Yeah, I thought that's what.
The dressing.
Interesting.
The dressing. Yeah, but when I was
only
pregnant,
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was like a restaurant where they make the dressing in front of you, like I wouldn't have eaten that, but like I ate Caesar dressing like from a bottle, you know what I mean? Because that's like being mass produced.
Yeah.
Oh, how about the lunch meat? And they're like, you should microwave it.
Oh, no, I'm not disgusting. Lunch meat.
That sounds so good to a pregnant woman.
That's actually like all I craved was like hoagies.
Oh yeah, that hoagie after he was born was the best hoagie of mine.
Where'd you get it? Middle child? Did you get a middle child?
Me?
Yeah.
No, it was just Wawa.
Oh my gosh. I think Brian went there like 3 times after, and the guy was like, weren't you just here yesterday? And Brian's like, why are you judging me?
All right, now we know. I didn't know about that. Okay, Kels, go down your list. Give us another one. Give us a couple.
Okay, well, back up. Well, I have in all capitals gluten. Like that's just like the concept of gluten and how it's portrayed to the American public is also, a myth / a pet peeve.
I ask you guys, like, I don't want to like dive deep into gluten, but do any of you eliminate gluten for any reason? No, you don't eliminate gluten.
No.
Okay, just wondering. It used to be used as like a weight loss tool to be a gluten-free diet, to be on a gluten-free diet. People would be on it.
I feel like people still associate it with that.
Yeah. And then I feel like people become like gluten sensitive because they're like avoiding it for so long. Right. And then they add it back in and it's like, oh, my body reacted to that. Wait, can I add another one, like the nutrition myths? Yeah. What about the like food sensitivity tests?
Oh, I was going to say that one. Well, that one comes up all the time. People are like, I can't eat this laundry list of food. I'm like,
remember at
yes,
I won't say it, but that one team had that one player and they did the food sensitivity test, and he was flagged for like all of the foods that he eats on a regular basis.
Like no one understands the science behind these things.
Exactly.
And it picks up the antibodies that are there because of the foods that you've eaten recently. So like if you are somebody who is always eating eggs are going to pop up on your list of like what not to eat. It's totally backwards. No, so, I mean, I've done a lot of research here, like not like research publishable research. I mean, I've dug deep into this and I've called allergist. No allergist recommends this test. There isn't a single allergist. Allergists look at a different type of Ig protein. Now, I think this is IgA. I think they look at IgE. Now, don't quote me on that, but whatever.
I think you're right. I literally just saw an article about it the other day. I think that's.
I mean, you're literally making. I think it's such a scam, and it makes me so sad that like I have to defend myself against these tests and like put out information of why they're wrong, and then. So poor people who are listening to this, they have to eliminate their favorite foods because those are the ones that they've been eating and those are the ones that pop up. Funny, isn't it funny that everything you ate in the last week is on this chart? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
someone add something there.
I think if you buy it on Groupon, if it's on Groupon, you probably shouldn't buy it.
You know, that goes true for so many different places.
So many things.
Everything in life.
Don't get Botox on there.
Do not get like a massage from Groupon. If they're not busy, don't go there. Oh, I got my hair colored from Groupon. Oh, orange. Oh my God. Okay, you guys are so funny. I know there's so many things out there. I just can't even, I feel bad. And at the same time, I feel like, is it my job to like correct everybody and help everybody? Or am I just like walk by, should I eat gluten? No, don't, who cares? Don't eat it.
Yeah, move along in your life.
Move on. Yeah, move
I
on.
do think you have to pick and choose your battles. Like it's hard. And I feel like that's why Kellsey was saying earlier, like I have like armor to it. Because Emery's like, you can't think of one thing. I'm like, I don't even know because I feel like I get so many things that I'm just
Literally like everything.
I can't, it's like, I can't unless I hear something that's really triggering to me that make my ears bleed, like clean or something like that. Then I'm like, whoa. All right, we got to talk about this.
That's so interesting. I think it's fun when people ask about nutrition myths. I think it's like, you know, kind of digging, like, where did they hear about it? And I do like to answer your rhetorical question. I do think it's our job to kind of, you know, answer their question.
Yeah, okay.
Because like, if they didn't ask us, who are they going to ask? Dr. Google, and they're going to get any answer that they want to get. Yeah. Or Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
but don't you ever feel like it just sometimes it's just so overwhelming?
That is so true. I really like that approach to it. And okay, so it's our jobs. Okay, so let's just take it from like it's our jobs. Let me ask you this: how would we approach portion sizes? Because at the end of the day, like, isn't it really all about managing how much you're eating and portion sizes? Because really, most of the time when we're eating, it's not truly just because of hunger. Right? It's other stimuluses that are kind of getting us to eat. So when do you stop? How you brought up intuitive eating. Does that work for everybody? Is there a way to like mix intuitive with a little bit of your own intuition or your own like actual knowledge of something, a bit of a blend?
Oh my gosh, of course. I think that over the years, having my practice, I've really kind of thought about like even just how I eat, and how my culture eats. Like my parent, like we eat tons of vegetables. We eat rice every single day, right? Like you're not supposed to apparently eat rice, but we eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I kind of just thought about that, like in the American culture, it's so different from the Vietnamese culture. But if you go to Vietnam, a lot of us are normal weight and we don't have these chronic diseases that we do in America. And when I think of like all of the traditional foods that I eat, for example, like pho and like noodle soups, and they're all carbs. But we didn't grow up like having to portion size out everything. And I'm not going to go to my mom's house and portion out half a cup of pho noodles because that's all I'm supposed to eat according to the USDA. So I think that like, yeah, you have to take into those factors, you know, like your culture, how hungry you are, how much you want to eat to enjoy your meal. But also, you know, like in my practice, we still teach we do, you do have to have a baseline of what's
Yeah.
too much, right?
Yeah.
You
You
agree?
have a baseline of what's too much
Yeah.
and understand what too much really looks like. And I think we kind of lose touch of that, especially when dining out. But I just want to swing back to cultural, like culturally for my culture, we have naturally eat the Mediterranean diet way. And the same thing, it's carbohydrate based. Protein is a condiment and it's on the side. And one more thing about it is you mentioned going to your mom's house and eating over there. In my culture, we eat together all the time, full families, like around family style food. So there's also a lot of conversation and things that take your mind away from just focusing only on the food. It's like, it's a more of an experience when you're eating that way. And so you eat less when it's an experience. Like think about some of like the best restaurants maybe you've ever been to. The portion sizes are so tiny, but when you leave, you feel so full because it was like spaced out over a long period of time and you enjoyed every bite, and every bite was so like valuable on so many levels. And I feel like that is kind of where we need to get to enjoy food again. Did I go too deep here?
No, I agree. I
Oh,
agree.
I agree.
Sorry, back to my mom. She would say like, don't feed people like too much. Like, you know, like we sometimes when people come over, you just like want to give them, I mean, like, cause you're hospitable, you want to give them like so much food. But my mom, like her thing is like, if you give them too much, they'll feel like stuffed and sick and actually like go away not feeling good. Like you want to like have them be able to enjoy. I feel like you enjoy food more when you kind of even like maybe want a little bit more and you don't feel sick afterwards. If that makes sense.
75% rule. Eat
Yeah.
till 75% full. Anyone ever hear that?
Mhm.
For me,
Do you follow that, Nyree?
Andrea.
I honestly do follow that. I really do follow that. I don't like the feeling of stuffed. And I also feel like sometimes like the beginning bites or the first half of whatever I'm eating tastes so much better than the last half of what I'm eating. So like, why wouldn't I leave myself with like those first flavors, you know, because I feel so much better that way. I'm like, I could get a large ice cream cone and I can finish it. But truthfully, after the first scoop, I'm like, I'm good. That I met my craving. That's all I needed. And then after a while, it's like a chore to keep eating the rest of the cone. Am I the only one who feels this way?
No, that's actually a tip that I give clients is like when they're trying to like cut out something that they binge on or can't control themselves with. One tip is like the last bite should be as good as the first bite. And that's kind of when you know when you should stop.
Yeah, I love that. Talk to
I
me.
agree.
Thanks, Angela.
Okay, well, that just reminds me of
Support.
those little, has anyone ever gotten those like little mini ice cream cones from Trader Joe's?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Always have them in my
They're like
house.
the perfect
Yeah.
thing
Love them.
ever.
Do you ever get that
Because-
the ice cream sandwiches? Like
Yeah, I
the
have those
little,
in my
like,
freezer right now
yeah,
too.
the-
Ones.
They're
Yeah.
perfect.
I
always.
have the mini
Yeah.
Dove ones that are this big
Yeah,
and they're
those
like
too.
6 calories.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for my kids too. They'll be like,
Yeah.
you're just
Oh,
for your
for
kids
sure.
one. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's good for
It's
me too.
awesome.
It's good for
Perfect.
mini, everything is good. Everything should be
100%.
mini. Like where this whole trend came from of super big has got to go away. Like, you know what, Wawa in the front, they have all those little tiny candies for 25 cents, like a
Yeah.
little bag of Swedish fish. I always get one.
Yep.
There's like 5 Swedish fish in there. I feel so like, yay, I just had
Perfect.
some
Yeah.
Swedish fish. But I also like, that's it. There's no more. Like I always suggest to people, I know it costs a little bit more, but buy individually packaged food. Like the minute you have a whole bag of chips, forget about it. But I mean, I'm sure you guys have all done this. Like when you eat an individual bag of chips, are you like shocked at how few? Like
I always go back for a second one.
And I'm always like, wow, that's really how much I should be eating of that. So I just feel like, you spend a little bit more money, but you're this is an investment in yourself. Like
For sure.
you need to invest in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Like
Well,
when
and
people are like, oh, I have to eat because I don't want to waste food. But
Oh, hit it, huh? Keep going with that.
But at the same time, like you're gonna pay for it in other ways.
Yeah.
So
Paying for it. You're first of all, when you get a large portion and you feel like you're part of the clean the plate club, you are saving nobody in like, and I'll just use Armenia because I can say that because I'm Armenian. No one you're not saving any starving person in Armenia because you just
I love that. I'm going to use that.
you're not saving anybody. And on top of that, you're hurting yourself. So
Yeah.
now
Yep.
you are going to be not only like, maybe have some, I'm not even gonna go with the long term, but the short term is you're gonna feel guilty about this. You're not gonna feel good about yourself simply because you like
Bloated.
finished the other half of what you didn't want. Throw it away and throw away your guilt that went with it. Get over it because you have to invest in yourself.
And I think that starts at a young age. I mean, I think that like right now there's a big movement for like just trusting kids and letting them know that, they're the ones that are in charge of their food and how much they're going to eat. And sometimes, my little one will eat so much food and then other times she eats a bite. She's like, my belly says it's full. I mean, I always ask my kids now,
Yeah.
what's your body telling you? What's your belly telling you? Because I mean, I wasn't raised like that, and that was no offense to my parents, but that just wasn't how we were raised. And I just want them to be more in touch so that they're teenagers and adults who are in touch with themselves.
Andrea, that's awesome.
But
We-
you get weird feedback from other moms or family members when you're like, you're only going to put that on their plate, or or when I'm out somewhere and I see somebody come with this giant plate to feed their 3-year-old, I'm like, who's that? They're
Yeah.
3. They don't need the hamburger, a big thing of fries and the broccoli and the potato salad. What I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so overwhelming.
That's overwhelming to a kid. Like
But
that's
also it's setting them up for, I feel like those kids are the ones who like, oh, this is the portion I'm supposed, like, that's what I was 5. Now I'm 10. Like, do I need to cheat? Like, it just,
Yes.
I mean, kids, like you hit it right on the head. Like, kids know what they're capable of feeling and eating. And whether you formula feed or breastfeed, it doesn't matter. But like breastfeeding has that sort of, they feed till they're full kind of thing. And like, I think that like travels through life. Like kids know when they're hungry and they know when they're full, and like, you don't need to like overwhelm them if they want more, like, sure. But at the end of the day, it all balances out. So, and I mean, even with James, like, I mean, I grew up in a family, like we had like tasty cakes at in every lunchbox. Like my mom was like, I gave you all that crap because like, then you didn't feel restricted from it. And she's right. Like when I got to college, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, French fries, pizza, soda, like sign me up for all of these things. Like I still felt like I had control over what I could eat because it didn't feel like I was restricted at all. And I think that, I think that's really important.
That's
I was that way.
I love that your mom did that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My family was like I remember going over to my one friend's house and I was like, we had dinner and then I was like, where's dessert? And she was like, we only have dessert like for birth. And I was like, what? Like my family, my mom bought like giant pixie sticks. Like what you got it like, and like, I just didn't want them. I was like, why? Like it just wasn't a big deal for us to have.
Yeah.
Nyree, it's like your candy drawer.
It's like my candy drawer.
In my
house, when my kids were younger, I had an entire drawer full of all clear containers, all different candies, and it was fully accessible to them. Starburst, Twizzlers, but like also like peanut butter cookies, and like there were maybe like 25 different options in this drawer. And my kids would go into the drawer when they felt like it. They would take a couple of things they knew, like 2 or 3, that's enough. Like, you know what I mean? I would have kids come over with family, like friends would bring their kids over, and my friends would have to stand at my drawer with their knee holding it closed because the kids wanted to get into it so badly. And me, I just felt like I did it as my own little mini experiment because maybe I'm a weirdo, but I wanted to see like what my kids would react like if this was what they were exposed to from a very young age and they got to make their own decisions. I guided their decisions. Sure. I guided them, but Yeah, I think that it does well, because then you're like, right, Angela, like now my kids are in college and they're not going crazy, like, like they've never seen Fruity Pebbles before. And I feel I feel so bad for those
Yeah,
kids.
I mean, I was on vacation, even like, I felt really bad. We were on vacation up in Maine, and they had like a huge it was like the best continental breakfast I've ever experienced. But they had like other like quick dry items. And I think they had like, oh my gosh, what are the little Captain Crunch? They had like Captain Crunch,
Oh.
Raisin Bran, and
Love
Cheerios. And like, I mixed Captain Crunch with the Cheerios for James. And I remember like standing next to this dad with this 5-year-old, and he's like, no, the kid was having a meltdown about Captain Crunch because he probably never saw it before.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just give him the dumb cereal.
It's too much sugar. They're going to be hyperactive.
Yeah.
Going to be hyperactive if we give them too much sugar.
Yeah. It just blows my mind. Just let kids eat, give them variety, and they'll figure it out.
Especially on vacation. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
I think every day's vacation.
I secretly wanted to sneak it. I wanted to sneak it to this kid and just be like, oh, here, but I'm not going to be that person.
Well, I also think, and I've seen this with some pediatric dietitians that I follow too, like some of their suggestions sometimes is like, if this is a problem in your house and how to start it, like serve the cookie or dessert with dinner.
Mhm.
So like, that's just a way of letting the kids, like if they eat the cookie, then they eat the cookie, but then
And that totally works. It totally works.
it works 1000, because I also.
You guys have all done that? You watch something? Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I made James my husband a birthday cake, and James saw it sitting out, and all he wanted the entire dinner was like this dark chocolate cake. And I was like, for 10 minutes, I was like, forget it, just give him the cake. And he ate the cake, and then he ate whatever else we had that night. I mean, why deprive?
Yeah.
It totally works, because then they're like, okay, I had it, and now they're still hungry. So then, like, I've seen it in my own kids, like they picked up things and they started eating it. And I've also been trying to have honest conversations with my kids, because sometimes, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but people are like, should you sneak the healthy food?
Oh, I hate
Or not.
I
I am not one to sneak it in. I more say to them, like, if we're talking about carrots, I'm like, oh, this have some properties that are good for our eyes, or we talk about protein or carbohydrate. And I just like, I want them to know this stuff so they can make choices and decisions. And I'm not trying to like trick them. And they do. They're like, look, mom, we're helping our eyes. And they think it's funny, like, as they dip it in ranch, but like, whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the problem with like sneaking it is because they never see it in its like natural form. They don't know what a carrot looks like, or they don't know what a bell pepper. So when they get older and they're exposed to these foods, it's like foreign to them. But, if you can, I mean, our job is to offer it to them, right? And their job is to decide whether or not they want to eat it. And I like that idea of like serving cookies with dinner, because it just makes everything very neutral.
Can we bounce this back to adults real quick? Because so like the whole thing with having that cookie, or Angela, like your story about like having the cake and then he ate the rest of the food, like, isn't that the same with adults? Like if you are constantly like depriving yourself, like if you want that cookie so badly, have it, because then it's almost like you start making up for it in different ways. Like you deprived yourself of the cookies. So now you're going to eat like this healthy snack, this healthy snack, this healthy snack. If you just had your darn cookie, everything would have just shaken itself out into the right places for the rest of the day. Do you guys agree?
100%.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be like hyper focused on it either. I feel like when you deprive, then you're like still like thinking about it later. I feel like it's easier. I mean, at least for me, if I just eat the cookie, then I like move on with my day.
For sure.
Or just like move on with it and then make a different choice later if I want that or not. But if you're like depriving, you're always like looking to see what else you can like sneak to yourself.
Well, it's like Halo Top ice cream and all of those other substitutes too. It's like, are you really getting satisfied from that? No. And like spend a couple extra bucks on like the Talenti ice cream, because you're going to eat less of it because you're going to be satisfied sooner, so
true.
let's go with the real stuff.
Amen.
Okay, ladies, this was awesome. I don't want to hold up any more of your day. I know that we could go on forever, but I am going to ask you like a quick fire question. Okay. So I'm going to ask each of you what you made for dinner last night and what your favorite food is. Okay, go, Kellsey.
Chicken fingers and French fries is what I made for dinner last night.
Yeah.
My favorite food is probably pizza in any form.
Angela.
I was getting my nails done for a wedding this weekend, so we ordered pizza. And what's my favorite food in the world? Cacio e pepe.
Okay, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Andrea.
We had cheeseburgers, fries, and broccoli.
We're a great group of dietitians, aren't we? I mean,
really well.
I think what we're trying to say is we're normal.
So this is the point. Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, this is the whole point. And
Yeah.
my favorite food, I would say, I really can't make a favorite, but I would say anything, I can do a cuisine, anything Mexican, I think.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna
that's
say-
really good. Yeah, I totally love Mexican.
Huh?
I ate leftovers from lunch. I had baba ganoush and pita and fries. And my favorite food is my mom's pho. It's the best.
Of course. I saw that on Insta. It looked amazing.
Oh, so good.
Wait, Nyree, you have to answer now.
Me? Well, last night I went out for dinner. I had sushi in New York and it was just like
Amazing.
died for. Really, I will almost never not be able to eat sushi anywhere else after eating last night here. Sushi Yasuda, if you ever go. And it was amazing. Did omakase. So like I ate things that I would never normally eat and every single bit of it like blew my mind. Okay. So that was last night. So sushi, way more than I normally eat and way more of the wine. So last night, so I'm making up for it today. I already went out for a walk. Okay. Like that. So see, it's about balance. I ate a lot. I rolled out of there last night. My favorite food in the entire world. I mean, truthfully, I have two, but I'm going to go with one. And you guys, it's bread and butter, straight up bread and butter. I could eat bread and butter, just bread. I could eat bread and butter anytime. Yeah. Butter. I'm all about the butter board. I want the butter board.
So actually, yeah, like I said pizza because it's like a good go-to, but I think if we're doing groups, I would say like any appetizer. Like that's
We're not doing groups. The question was one food. So everybody stop. Andrea, you did not follow instructions. And we're not doing groups. We're not making a dentist right now.
Shrimp tacos, shrimp tacos.
That's what I said.
In the category of breakfast, my favorite food is.
I mean, really, I could go through all the categories all the day. It's so hard for me. Sorry.
All right, dragons. Thanks for taking the time to be here today. All right, bye.
Bye.